Today, we're going to be learning about value. Value is an element of art, and once you've learned how to implement value into your drawings and paintings, your artwork will soar to new heights. It creates an illusion of depth and allows objects to take form. Value refers to the lightness and darkness of a color. Value can be created in three ways: tinting, shading, or toning. You may already be doing this in your artwork and didn't even know it had a name. We will start out with hatching and cross-hatching to make value. First, we're going to try out a value scale. Join with me and make 3 sets of 5 across horizontal boxes. I've made 3 sets of 5 boxes in a row, and now you're probably thinking, I don't have any fancy art tools. You don't need any. You can create value using a pen, marker, paints, or a pencil. Here's a photograph of what you'll be able to draw by the end of this lesson. First, let's try a pen. Notice when I fill in my first box, I want to fill the entire box with a solid color. If I use a technique called hatching, I'm going to see a solid value. For my first box, I may even use some cross-hatching, drawing lines very close together in one direction. When I finish in one direction, I'm going to go over those lines in the opposite direction, which will be creating the cross-hatching effect. The next box, I'm going to put in a tiny space between my hatch lines, creating a lighter effect. Let's see if I need to cross-hatch for my next boxes. Next box is going to be lighter, so I'm going to leave a little bit more space between my lines, which will create a lighter appearance. And the next box will need a little hatching, and my last box, I can use hatch lines far apart for the lightest value. Now, using a pencil, you will need to press a little bit harder. I'm filling in my entire box and using less pressure. Now with paint, I'm going to make a value scale of blue. I'm going to fill my first box entirely with a fully saturated color of blue. And for the next square, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water, and the next one more water until my boxes are a very light value. For the object drawing, I took a round lid and a straight edge to create my object, and a horizontal line, which will serve as my tabletop. We'll be using value to make a two-dimensional geometric shape, which will become a sphere. Let's take a look at a circle. It's a circle. If we want it to appear that it has form, then we'll need to add value. Now let's begin using value to shade in our circle. I set up a still life using a cannonball. Let's look to see where our light source is, and I know that my light source was on the left of my photograph. It's going to create a highlight, and the lightest value is on my sphere. My darkest areas are going to be where the ball is furthest from the light source, and it has shadows. I want to make sure that I curve my line so that the object appears to be round. I'm going to start at the bottom and work upward. The darkest values will be away from the light source. Our midtones will be a gradual change from light to dark, and our highlights, or the lightest values, will be where the reflection is. I have drawn an ellipse to create a cast shadow where the ball blocks the light. Try experimenting with these different types of pencils, markers, and paints that you have at home. I know it's a lot to take in, but do your best and then turn your work into Google Classroom.